What is good, everyone? Welcome to Jazz in a Paperback podcast. I am your host, Mikko Tampio. This is a first full episode, and starting a podcast has been on the back of my mind for a long time, so here we go. In this episode, I have a guest, Mikko Björk, aka Wartecs. Mikko is a b-boy. He is a co-founder of the world-famous Flomo crew and Saiffa dance school in Helsinki. He is an all-around creative person, and in this episode we ramble about how he got onto a world tour with Bomfunk MCs and what are his takes on creativity. So tune in and let's go! Yo, it's your host, Mikko Tampio. Welcome to the Jazz in a Paperback podcast. I'm here stepping onto the unknown territory as this is the first podcast episode that I'm recording. I'm here with two mics and a guest. Today's guest is Mikko Björk, aka Wartecs from Flomo crew. Mikko is an all-around creative person. I don't know how to describe it, so how would you describe yourself?
What up? Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me here. It's a great honor to be in your first episode as your first guest. I already thought you were gonna do a few of these before, but I'm so honored to be the first guest. Who am I? I am here and there, everywhere, hip hop entrepreneur from Helsinki, Finland. Been down with hip hop since I was 16, so now altogether coming 27 years of my hip hop life. I do a lot of things. I started off being just a fan of hip hop, getting into graffiti. Later on, I started dancing, breaking, and through that, the whole world just opened up for me with being a part of representing the elements of hip hop, being a fan of all the other elements that I didn't do or still don't do, and I do a lot of things. Dance, teach dancing, run a dance school. I do a lot of graphic designs. I'm not a writer, but I like to paint. What else do I do? Anything creative that I can or it just pops into my mind. I feel like a responsibility for myself that I gotta produce it out of my body, out of my mind, out of my heart. So anything creative, and if it has that hip hop link, for sure, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to have you as my first guest, because I feel like I relate to what you are doing, that you jump into different creative endeavors without much of prejudice. But that also I feel like that everything that you do, it kind of makes sense, that you are not doing stuff just because it's cool, but it has a link to hip hop or something that you are. So what I've been thinking, because you are a little bit older than me, that how did you get into hip hop in Finland back in I don't know which years are we talking about?
We're talking about the 90s.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm not that much older.
I was like, I came actually, I think I came to hip hop in 99, 2000s. So tell me about how hip hop, did you found hip hop or did hip hop found you? And
I found hip hop through MTV. Yo MTV Raps. That was my first touch of hip hop in my life. I fell in love with watching the program after school, and we moved to a new house and with my parents, and all of a sudden we went through the channels. Of course, kids went through like, what do we have here? And all of a sudden we had MTV, and we went bananas, you know. And I just wholeheartedly fell in love with the overall feeling that it through a TV screen. It was crazy. But mostly I fell in love with the way that all the guests in the show or the performers, the way that they talked, the way that they were carrying themselves. They were very confident young people, you know, and they had this swag about them, you know, of course how they dressed. And the way that they talked was so relaxed and you know, flamboyant, and that was my the first touch that I fell in love, and I didn't know anything about it, so I ate it all up. Whatever they showed, I took it all in. So that was like my very first touch of hip hop.
I thought so, that maybe MTV Raps had something to do with it, and it's like, for me it was MTV as well. I was thinking actually today, because I'm not sure exactly when I ran into hip hop, but today I was thinking, and I think it was MTV, they showed VMAs where I was listening to a lot of heavy metal and rock and roll in like before, let's say 99, but in 99 they showed in MTV, I saw VMA clip with Kid Rock, Run DMC and Aerosmith performing, and that blew my mind. And I was like, actually I saw Kid Rock and I was like, all right, they are having guitars and they are rapping, so that's pretty cool. And I felt like, okay, I want to be a rock and roll star. That didn't happen, but anyway, then I started to listen to Run DMC. I ran into Everlast, who was also with the blues guitar and things like that. And then my homie had heard about Finnish hip hop Kapasiteettiyksikkö of Intelligence, Avain, and he got me into that. And then I saw Voittamaton on Moon TV and stuff like that. So that was kind of how I got into hip hop. When I think of you first, it's probably because how we met or whatever. I think you first as a b-boy. So how did you end up b-boying?
I ended up b-boying through, like, I had a lot of friends who danced. We were hanging out with friends all the time, and they were all taking like street dance classes. And they were like, yeah, you got rhythm, Mikko, you should join us for the classes. But I never liked it. I never liked the style that they did, you know? And then at one point, you know, you could see some small glimpses in like Dr. Alban music videos or something. They do like a half a flare or some 6-step sort of thing, and you're like already peaked, like, what did they do? And but then I don't even remember who it was, but at some party it was like, yeah, we're into this now, and it was like breaking. And I was like, what is this? Like, I was immediately attracted to it. Like the street dance whole thing was to me like, it felt like pretentious. But when I saw breaking, it felt so honest, so brutal, and to me the challenge immediately was like, oh, I want to make my body move like that. I want to be that guy, you know, with the attitude and, you know, again with the clothing and everything. So it was just we were just a group of kids, and we fell in love with it.
That's great. And obviously b-boying has took you to a lot of places. Like, what's funny, we actually, let's talk about a little bit of Bomfunk MCs, because you've been dancing with them on their world tour, and actually quite recent years too, they had a reunion, you were dancing there. And there's a fun story, because we were practicing, that was only like, I don't know, maybe I was in the second grade or something. There was one guy that knew how to break dance in our school. And we had the gym, after school we had the gym for us to practice breakdancing, and the only song that we played on the stereo where we breakdanced was Bomfunk MC's Freestyler.
Okay, of course.
So how did you end up with Bomfunk MCs? And
I ended up touring with the band because of the crew I was in. I was.
What was that called?
A bunch of like the friends that we started breaking with, they were a part of like a youth project called Colorblind. And I wasn't in it, but I was always hanging around with the group. I was always, you know, went to see their performances and hanging around, and at some point somebody said like, hey, but you're like breaking too. And I said, yeah, you know, we're just breaking with our friends. And they said, well, you should be a part of this. So I became like a very like last addition to the performance, and they like 2 days before they had like the premiere performance, they was like, yeah, you're gonna learn these choreographies now and you're gonna perform with us. And it was so absurd. But those those people that we did the youth project with was a lot of people from Rahina Records. Through that youth project, for example, Elastinen and Isoho met. They met through that, and that's the basis of Fintelligence. So our group of friends was Kimmo Laiho, Elastinen, Uniikki, Dan Tolppanen, and nowadays runs a gym and also is a keyboardist to Mighty 44, Lil P. And those were like the people that we like bonded with. And they started to take like breaking classes, and it was a time in my life that I had no money to attend dance classes. It was like it was not even an option for me to pay for dance classes. But they started the dance classes and they said, yeah, it's so dope. Like we knew already this and this and this, but now the teacher is like correcting some of the steps, and they came out and showed me all the moves they learned, and I was super jealous because they did them correctly. Before we were just doing something. We weren't doing anything like absolutely correctly. I don't know if there's anything such thing as absolutely correctly, but during that time it was very impressive. And then I started going to school that I could get like what do you call it in English? Opintotuki.
I don't know, like some kind of like grant that you get for your studies.
Study money from the government. So I used that money to go to the dance classes. I didn't buy any books or anything. I just got old books from my friends and their big brothers, and I whatever. But I used that money to go to the dance classes. And through that, we formed like a group that always stayed after the classes and practiced there. Or they already had the group and they let me stay with them. And this is like the birth of Illmatic crew. They formed a crew called Illmatic, and I practiced with them like I think like half a year, almost a year, until they put me down with the crew. They took me in, and I became a part of Illmatic crew, which later on changed into Savage Feet. And the leader or the teacher who taught us correctively all the basic stuff, and who taught the breaking class, Petri. He knew the Bomfunk MCs lead character Raymond from way back when. They were like friends, and Raymond knew that he was having the classes, and he had some students, and they were coming up with this Bomfunk project, and they were shooting Opera King Beats music video. And so Raymond asked Petri, like, okay, you have your Padawans, and you're still breaking, like, you guys want to be a part of the music video. And it was just the music video. So they had the idea. Everybody's seen the music video. It's the PlayStation game that they battled. And I'm actually one of the. I don't dance in the music video, but I'm one of the b-boys that you could have chose to battle with. If you look at the selection, I'm one of the guys who is spinning as one of the characters. But and after that, because it was the impact of that music video was pretty good. Raymond asked the guys, like, you want to be a part of the live show? Well, like, we should do live shows. And I wasn't originally not even in the group that performed. It was 4 guys from Illmatic crew during that time, and one of them was Di Maestre, Antopio, Topi Tateishi, and he did one show with the group. And they were performing as a warm-up act for Run DMC when they did their very first show in Finland ever at Vanha Yliopistotalo. And after that show, Topi said that, okay, this is not for me. I don't want to do this, but you should take Mikko in this show. You should take that guy. And it also helped that I was the only guy who did head spins. So I was like a good addition. And even Raymond said, like, okay, finally we have a guy who does head spins also. And so I got put down to that like performing group like that because of Topi. And then we did I had my first performance in Kaivo Huone, and I was scared shitless.
Yeah.
You know, it was a wonderful and horrific experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, but once we started moving, once we started doing our thing and everything went good,
yeah,
I was put down with the crew.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now you can't quit anymore. Now you're in it.
Yeah.
Want it or not.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And how did you think? Because I feel like when I started skateboarding myself, I think that was like, I don't want to say that it changed my life, because it's like it happened so early that I don't feel like there was much to change, but that kind of changed some trajectory maybe. So what do you think, if you didn't to start doing breakdancing? You were into hip hop, of course, before you started breakdancing. So,
yeah.
So what do you think? How did breakdancing kind of change? Did it change your trajectory somehow to other creative fields, or like, how do you feel like if you didn't do breakdancing? If you think like that,
yeah.
Do you have any idea where would your life where would you have put that energy to?
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Before when I was into hip hop, I was very into like drawing, painting,
Yeah.
and I was always like a part of. I was always put in the art class of any
Yeah.
school. When I was in elementary school, I was always in the art class,
Yeah.
and I was already in school. Everybody was like, "You should go to Torkkeli Lukio to learn more of this, and you should be pushing this thing forward. You're like,
Yeah.
you have a lot of potential." And I didn't think of it as potential. To me, it was just fun. It was a fun thing to do. I love drawing. I love to do anything with my hands, basically, because I love to do. I had in elementary school. I had to put a special request to enter both woodworks and sewing classes, because I wanted to do both, and they said no, you have to choose. And for boys it's the woodwork. I said I don't want to choose. I want to do both, because if I get to go there, I get to make stuff with wood and metal and all that kind of very very old, like manly choices of learning. But I was super interested in I got an opportunity to make clothes or something like that. I was super interested in about that. So like before into hip hop, I was already so interested in anything that had to do with doing something with your hands and creating something. So but hip hop enforced it. Like I started doing graffiti, and that was super fascinating to learn to do something. Or when I was young, I didn't learn shit, I just did a bunch of stuff and thought it was just cool, you know. Later on, I've learned stuff actually, but during the time it was just cool. But through breaking, especially when we started touring with the band, it opened, of course, because I was 19. I was 18, I think, during the time. It opened my eyes, of course. Like it was a completely different world than what I was living in. I have 5 brothers. I'm from a big family who always, didn't have too much things. And all of a sudden I was touring with a band that was cool. It was very popular. We had shows, ridiculous amount of shows during like every year. And it was a big experience to travel around Finland, then travel around Scandinavia, then travel around Europe, and from there we did like the world tour, or it formed into a world tour. So of course it opened my eyes to how wonderful the whole world is. And that pretty much everything that I thought that was out of touch and an impossibility, it made me realize like it's not impossible. Everything is actually approachable, and if you put work behind it and determination, it's not so far. No place in this globe is actually that far. So it opened my eyes, and it made me, like you said, you talked about trajectory, and that kind of like that put me on the path that I still am now. Because of that, worked with mostly hip hop stuff.
Yeah.
You know, of course, I've had many like normal jobs, working in, you know, storage rooms and post offices and bakeries and whatever. You know, I've done whatever needed to be done during the times that, you know, it's not always fabulous.
Yeah.
Living in a small ass country as Finland and doing hip hop stuff as a living.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No.
So you got to do what you got to do, you know?
Yeah.
So, but it has put me on the path that I choose to aim my focus on hip hop jobs.
Yeah.
And cultural projects. You know? But I don't know where I would be if I didn't do what I do, because it's formed as such a big part of my identity that I can't even imagine my life not being in this culture and representing it the way that I feel best for me to represent the culture. Yeah. So I don't know. I would be probably doing some stupid ass shit somewhere. It's always the cliche when people say that hip hop saved my life. Yeah. I truly believe that hip hop saved my life. Yeah. Because the group of friends that we were hanging around before we got into it, like dancing and hip hop, like really swallowed us. Yeah. You know, I don't know what I would have turned into. You know. Yeah. You know, maybe a basic 9-to-5 guy doing some stuff on the side just for myself, and that also sounds really good. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But I'm super happy that I've had so many opportunities to do with so many talented people in the scene. Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing. I feel like hip hop has had like a huge. I would say, like, I don't know if it's cliche, but let's say that I would say thank you to hip hop for what I do today, because it has kind of gave me belief into myself that I didn't necessarily had.
Self-confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
It's if anything, it's given me the most. It's self-confidence. Yeah. Breaking, I mean. Yeah. Breaking has given me like all the tools to do whatever I do with self-confidence. Yeah. Like everything that I go into, like we were talking before, I did my first try at stand-up last week. Yeah. And I told everybody, like, I'm gonna go in with my b-boy mentality. I'm just gonna go in and own that fucking place for the time I'm on stage. Yeah. And I think that has helped me, you know, in every situation in my life after when I gained that self-confidence. So I understand exactly what you mean.
I love it how is in hip hop songs and in culture in general. It's like I haven't got in any other music genre that I really like, but I think hip hop is different because it's kind of gives you that extra push, like in a different way, and it's even when if the songs might be from the darker side maybe, but it's still like they have this kind of like what I mean. But
I love hip hop overall, like all the different elements, because they're you know the saying, no easy props. Yeah. You know, and that's like hip hop 101. Yeah. Like everybody, like hip hop is very encouraging. Like everybody's welcome to participate. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that you're gonna be everybody's favorite. Yeah. It's actually, hip hop is very welcoming, but it's also very harsh. Yeah. It's very cold in the way that, like, if you don't put your work into it, if you don't learn the basics and you just assume to get like famous or whatever, you're gonna be put into your place. Yeah. You're gonna get checked really fast. Yeah. So I love hip hop that it encourages everybody to be a part. Yeah. But it also encourages people to like do your homework. Yeah, exactly. Pay your dues and learn to stand behind anything that you do and say. Yeah. And that's when you get props. That's when you get recognized and you get that pat on your back, like good job. And then you become actually like a part of the community. Yeah. And I think this is very different from like any other subculture. Yeah. And that's why I love it, because it is encouraging, it is harsh, but it's also super rewarding when you do that, and that builds the self-confidence in anybody who does their homework.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like promoted that you have to work on it.
Yeah.
Work on it. I have took that same mentality to my other endeavors as well, which has helped me to go forward with them.
Yeah.
And let's go to the another topic that
Yep.
I wanted to talk about is creativity. Creativity, and I don't know if you already kind of covered that a little bit, but where does your creativity come from? What I mean is, like, do you feel need to create? I'm not talking just like breakdancing, but the other. I ask you to be the guest because I feel like I relate that you take on to different creative endeavors without the prejudice and kind of create, which I relate to. I'm same way as well. So I wanted to ask that, where does that creativity come from? That do you have need to make things, or is it more like expression that you want to express yourself? Of course it can be both, but for me, for example, I feel like I have both that, or like the photography is like self-expression a lot. That's like where I feel the most home, and that I feel like it's the medium that I can truly express myself. Of course I can do that on Friday painting or whatever, but it's like that's like the expression, but then I got some ideas, and then I feel like I need to do this, and some things are like I feel like they need to exist, and like, so how's your take on that?
My take is everything.
Yeah,
that's my take.
Yeah.
Some of the things I do because it's just been on my bucket list that I want to do something, like whether it's doing a song or doing a certain type of painting, or you know, my own T-shirts, or whatever. Because I've done so many things that afterwards, when I've gone through all my like catalogs and like own samples that I've left for me to remember what I've done, it's ridiculous. Why do I feel the need to do like jewelry or paint sunglasses or do whatever? But I think it comes from the same source that I've always been creative. It's just the joy of working with hands, or just a manifestation of something that you feel inside, or you, like you said, you think that this thing needs to exist. I think that's also a very big part, because for example, like I've done some like the sunglass painting stuff. I used to do custom painted sunglasses, like with very colorful stuff. It was just a way to play with colors and do as a side hustle. It was something to it provided a need that I had during that time, and then it just grew a lot bigger than I ever thought, because I thought it was just something that I liked to do on the side. But then it turned out to be something a little bigger, and later on I did this whole good vibes only thing, and that the source of that was just me having a really hard time in my life. It was me feeling kind of shitty about where I was, and I needed to pump myself up. It was just for me. And again, my friends were like, "Hey, this is so cool, like I want to get a t-shirt or something." And I said, "I don't have any t-shirts." Like Venla Vuorio, who's like a very huge dance character here in Finland, and she sent me like a message like, "Okay, I want this t-shirt, the t-shirt that I made just for myself." And I said, "Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna make you a t-shirt." And when she got the t-shirt, a lot of people said like, "I want this t-shirt too." And it manifested, like it grew into something that I didn't even think that it would grow up into. So, and now it's just one of those things that I've done. And same thing goes with anything. Actually, like anything. It's either my need to do something, or then I don't know, universe just wants it to exist, and I'm happy to be the one to produce it live. Alive.
And even sometimes it's like, sometimes I feel like that some things like they come, and especially when I feel that something that needs to exist, that it just comes from somewhere, and it's almost like the process is kind of automatic in a way, and it's like it just makes sense, and it's sometimes it feel like it's something that it's almost coming somewhere like above, that you need to do this, and it's like that it's just put on me that I need to make it happen. And it's also sometimes it's just curiosity that I get some ideas in my head, and then I just feel the need to kind of make it reality, just to see how they look in reality, whether it's a t-shirt or a photograph or whatever. And actually when I started to photograph, I took pictures of stuff just to see how they look on photograph, and I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah, and you know, it's like what I do now. I had at some point, I don't know where it came from. I have no idea why I'm doing it at the moment, but I had this need to do something with furniture. Like wood furniture. And then I thought to myself, like, okay, I'm not a carpenter. I don't have that kind of a education. You know, I'm the type of person who, if I see something that I like visually or functionally, I always think like, how is this made? Like what kind of the process is this product gone through, that it's this in its final version? And I want to make furniture, because I made like a table or two in the past and whatever. But I thought to myself, okay, I don't have all the necessary skills to compete with people who actually make furniture. But I can customize the shit out of furniture. That's what I thought. And then it went just like this. Okay, I need a space that I can do my stuff in. Then I got that space. Now I need the products to customize. Okay, then I got the products, and then I did that. And it's just another thing that I don't know for what reason I had to do it, but I just had to do it, and now I'm doing it. And I never thought that I would actually work on anything with furniture, like doing whatever. And it's just now become another part of my life. And these kind of things are. I actually got some negative feedback a while ago. Somebody said like, "Why do you have to do everything?" And I said, "What do you mean? Why do you have to always do like you do a little while you do this and then you do this and next year you're gonna do that?" I said, "What's wrong with it?" And they said like, you should just stick to your guns." I said, "But I haven't even started to use all my guns yet. Like I still got pistols up my wazoo, you know, waiting to be pulled out to you know, do what I do. It's why shouldn't I be able to play?" Because I think that's like the one biggest reason probably why I do this, because it allows me to be a kid. It allows me to go in and dig from that same crate of creative Legos in my head that I put in since I was a kid. And it allows me to play. And if it's not that serious, if you do it on the side, you do it good. And if somebody likes it, it's a win. But I do it mostly because I want to do it. I just want to do it, and it's gone to that place that I'm writing my first movie script now.
That's right.
I'm writing my first movie script that I am gonna pitch to Netflix. And you know, I wanna be the lead character in that. You know, if they buy it.
I hope they buy it. But that's exactly what I was talking about, because I was saying that. That to me, all that I do outside of photography, I feel like whether it's this podcast, whether it's t-shirt or whatever, that they kind of feed my photography practice that is in the center, because it's also important that you kind of course, you can be all over the place if you want to make something, because already usually the thing that you want to be the best at, it's already so hard that you have to kind of narrow your focus and kind of have that focus kind of so solely in there. But it's like I feel that I need to do this other stuff too. First off, if it wouldn't be healthy, and I don't think it will make anything good if I just sit all day looking at photographs and thinking of that. And sometimes it's like, sometimes you just have to do nothing, and that's
exactly
where
that's like a big part of my life actually. To do nothing. I love the balance that when I get something in my head and I gotta do it, then I'm really into it. I do it. I go into it 100%. But of course, it needs also the balance that like all creative people need to just take time and sit around and do nothing to balance it all out.
Yeah, exactly. And that actually took a while for me to realize, because I was feeling bad sometimes because I felt like I'm not doing anything tangible. And then I realized that it is like that you have to have that. Many times it's like maybe it can be something that takes the tangible work takes like 2 hours to make something. But the thing that you get to that part where you do the work, that can take like whatever. That you
it can take from weeks to months to years.
Exactly, that you have it in your head, and then it can be really fast. And also that I was once thinking about that a lot, and I felt like it's actually more effective. I don't remember the exact word that I'm looking, but more effective, or at least I like in a way that if I have done that kind of not doing anything at all phase properly, and then I execute that smaller part, then I make the work kind of much better.
It's like this. If you're a song maker and you make songs all the time, whether you like, of course there's always these few exceptional people who can do anything that they do like all the time. But that's a super rare gift. But most creative people, if you do the songs are really good example, because if you write about songs about life, but if you don't take time to live your life in between, what are you writing about?
Exactly.
You're gonna write about the same stuff that you'd already written about. So you gotta get content to that. You get experience, and you gotta live your life to be able to put that into your creation. And a lot of people don't realize that when you do visual stuff, it's the same stuff. It's the same pool of your creative energy that you kind of eat out of, and then you manifestate that into your work. And sometimes you need to just shut up and do nothing, and you know, watch Simpsons back-to-back 4 seasons.
Most definitely. But it's like that I have many times realized that of course I like to go just without any plans and go take some photographs or whatever, but usually those trips, they kind of, maybe I get some fun stuff.
But it's a part of the process.
Exactly. Like and I have to do that as well, because it's like you need to.
And this is like whenever I go to practice within closed doors with breaking stuff, most of it is just for us, you know. It's us going into the lab. So you going out and doing your thing without no purpose. It's you going to your lab and experimenting and again having fun. That's the most important thing. When you're enjoying what you do, you produce your best things. You know, and like most of our dance solos when we practice, it's they're not like music video material or you know, dance theater material. It's mostly just putting in that work, the creative like experiment and having fun.
Get the creative juices flowing, and that's where you usually found your new ideas as well, and kind of develop your craft.
Like today we were practicing at the school, and I was like warming up and doing some moves, and I tilted my head and I was looking at an older wall painting that I'd done, and I've had it in my head that it used to be our lounge area, but we've removed the desk away from the painting, so it needs to be. I've had it in my mind that I want to upgrade the painting. I'm gonna like build it forward to take it, because the painting has been done in 2010. But I want to update the wall to like bring it to today. And I was tilting my head, and today I finally realized what I need to do for that wall. So it's you never know when that's gonna kick in, you know. I love it.
That's the best. And all right, we're run out of time. You mentioned that you're writing a Netflix script, and you had your stand-up debut last week. So how did you end up doing stand-up?
I ended up doing stand-up because it was on my bucket list. I've been thinking about doing or trying stand-up for at least the past 10 years, at least.
Yeah.
And it was something that everybody always said, hey, you're a funny guy, you should try this. You're a funny guy, you should try this. That's always the comment. Oh, you got good jokes, you should do stand-up. You should do acting, you should do this, you should do that. It's always, people like to, tell you what you should do. It's natural, We all do it.
And I can tell because I have seen you hosting the events, and I can tell that is when I saw that you are doing stand-up, it wasn't a surprise that was something that I was kind of almost expecting.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people said.
Yeah.
Like everybody said, like, yeah, it's about time you do this.
Yeah.
And it's just been on my bucket list. When I host events, I cannot help it. I say some stupid shit.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just like things that they're like frogs out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And immediately I'm like, I don't know if it was a good thing to say that. And after the event, everybody was like, you were so funny today. You said that and that. And I was like, really? You laughed at that? Okay. But it was, I think it was no surprise for most of the people.
Yeah.
But it went fun. It went fine. It was a lot of fun. Spread my wings. It went fine. And now I booked or I send inquiries to many other places that if I get to do more. Because I want to do, because it went surprisingly well, so I want to get more practice and more experience, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But the Netflix thing, you mentioned that also.
Oh, yeah.
That's like non-comic stuff.
Yeah.
That's like I'm writing a movie script about a futuristic. How do you say this? A futuristic alternative world is what I'm writing about, and it's sort of like it has a bit of like a comedy vibe to it, but it's not a comedy itself. It has that I love the world of this old movie called Fifth Element.
Yeah,
I love the world, and it has a little bit of that vibe in my head that I want to inject into that movie.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish it and I'm gonna pitch it to Netflix. I'm gonna have to run it through somebody who actually writes scripts. Because if I just send a funny idea, nobody's gonna take it seriously. But we'll see how it goes. It's just one of those things, I gotta do this.
Yeah.
So I know that I have to do it. I have to try it, or unless I'm gonna kick myself in the ass for the next 10 years. Like, why haven't you done it?
Yeah.
Why haven't you done it yet, man?
Yeah. That's like my podcast endeavor. It was actually like I think I reached out to you, or it was like I think it was pandemic when the lockdown was, that I was thinking that what to
do with all of this freaking free time now.
All this time, and I reached out to you that maybe we should try to do podcast, but then we didn't, and then it's like it was on back of my head, and it's like I've been thinking of like I listen a lot of podcasts, and I'm always thinking that I should try this. I don't know how it goes, and I don't know, I have never done any interviews or whatever, but I don't know how it goes, if I can do it. But I think the only way to find out is just to jump onto it and go see if it works out or not, and whatever, not take things too seriously.
Exactly.
And here we are now recording
and everything happens when it needs to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
That's something that I've learned to trust in my life, that because I still have like art exhibition, or actually I have 3 different art exhibitions in my mind that I'm kind of everything I'm working on simultaneously, very slow in the background, so I have to make those happen and stuff like this. So there's many things, but I truly believe that everything happens when it's the right window for it to happen. And the pandemic thing got stuff started, the idea, the spitballing about how you should do it, and it's the reason why we're here.
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you, pandemic. Thank you.
Yeah, there was some good things came out of it.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
At least a little bit good.
Yeah, most definitely. But for the last thing, now I forgot what I was going to ask. Now I remember. It's like what what else you have on your plate in the near future?
Near future, we're gonna do. Actually, in 3 weeks, we're gonna go to LA.
Oh, yeah.
Freestyle session, Los Angeles World Finals. It's gonna be almost 20 years since the very first time Flomo went to LA, and we like put Finland on the map, like big time. We did already like 2 years official Flomo touring around Scandinavia and Europe, different events, but Freestyle Session X 2014, that was the year. That was our benchmark that we put Finland on the breaking map.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna go back to that event. We're a heck of a lot older than what we were, but we're gonna still enter the plus 40-year-old category, old but gold. Yeah. 3 of us, me, Focus, and Taya, we're gonna enter that. Sparks and Hat Solo is also we're gonna have a crew trip to LA. They're gonna take part in the 3 versus 3 battles, and we're just gonna go and battle everybody in the cyphers, and to quote Bomfunk Raymond, we're gonna do shit like we're young again. Yeah. Yeah. So that's in the near future, and besides that, just doing all my goofy art stuff and writing songs, writing the scripts, doing paintings, doing whatever. Yeah. Just playing around, having fun.
Yeah, that sounds great, and I think that's a good place to end this conversation. Do you want to plug something, shout outs, Instagram accounts, what you want people to check out? Or
I want to do it all.
You can do
definitely want to give shout outs. I want to give shout outs to first of all, I want to give shout out to my crew, Flomo, always having my back, whether it's me doing anything stupid or trying my wings at stand up or whatever. Shout out to Flomo. I want to give a shout out to the whole Finnish hip hop scene, especially the breaking scene, which is still today quite small, but very intense, I think. And shout out to everybody who's putting in the work, keeping on creating and producing jams and events for the rest of us to participate, because that's what we also do. So I respect my peers. I want to give a shout out to you for doing this, having the courage to jump into something unknown, because I know how it feels like. Yeah. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, I appreciate
it. And I also want to give a big shout out to Cross One, who's been organizing Freestyle Session for like forever, and having our back every time we go there, and helping us out in anything we need. And shout out to everybody who's listening to this podcast, because there's a lot of podcasts out there, and it's not easy to start something from the scratch. So if you're listening to this right now, shout out to you.
Yeah,
that's about it. Yeah. My Instagram is Mikko MC. It's mostly just my goofy art stuff and some graph paintings that I do. but you're welcome to follow me if you want to.
Yeah, thank you for coming to the first podcast, and thank you for everyone listening, and with that, we out. Peace.
Yeah.